truck. Okay, so if you're watching this video, you probably have a dipstick that's either stuck in the tube or probably broken off. That's the case here. This is a Dodge something with a V6 engine. It honestly doesn't matter. This applies to just about everything nowadays because everything's got a plastic dipstick. The gist of it is the lady went to get an oil change and they wouldn't change her oil. They said your dipstick's broken off or stuck or whatever. We're not going to change your oil. So she brought it here. So let me show you what I got. So it turns out this is a Dodge Journey. It's an RT. It's got the 3.5 liter. Again, irrelevant. There's the engine cover. We took that off just because. Here's the dipstick. Or at least was the dipstick. So yeah, it's broke off. Not only is it broke off, but it's recessed. It's recessed further than that. So I'm assuming somebody made an effort to try to get it out and only pressed it down in there farther. But anyways, if you look down in there, you can see she's wet and there's a hole started in the top of that. And the reason is I sprayed some penetrating oil in there and then I started drilling it. And then I thought, you know what? I should make a video. So here we are. So let's extract this dipstick and I'll find one here in a pile of dipsticks I got. Don't ask me why I have them. I just keep them from junk cars. And then we'll get this vehicle on its way. So what I did before I started filming was I took a small drill bit and I just started drilling this. And I'm being careful not to push down too hard because in case it is loose, I don't want to lodge it any further down in there than I have to. And it's just plastic that you're drilling through. And I believe I'm all the way through it. Okay. Now I'm just going to take a traditional drywall screw and see if we can pull this thing out of here. And hopefully the dipstick is still attached to the plastic part. We'll run that in there just a little bit. Oh, she's threading in there a little crooked, but it's grabbing something. We'll put a pair of vice grips on that screw and hopefully pull this dipstick right out of here. Ooh. Okay, so it's still stuck, obviously. You know, you could pull, you could reef on this thing, but more than likely what's going to happen is I'm going to just rip the screw because it's threaded into plastic down here. So let me show you. This is what I planned on doing anyway. I've done this before and it works great. So here in Michigan, our license plates, well, they make them as cheap as they can nowadays. They're aluminum. And the old license plates work great as a heat shield. So I use them all the time. And just to protect that wiring right there, I'm going to put that license plate right there. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to heat this tube up with a propane torch because that's plastic that's seized in there, and that's a metal tube. That tube is much more stout than that plastic is. So I'm going to heat that up until that plastic gets soft, and that should come right out without any effort. Where's my... As soon as I find my torch... So in the wintertime, I always keep my torch over by the balancer, the tire balancer, because it's hard to get the wheel weights to stick, you know, to the aluminum rims when they come in from the cold. All right, so we're not trying to catch the car on fire. We're just trying to heat up that dipstick tube. It's making some noise. I feel like something's happening. All right, she's starting to smoke a little bit. Oh, look at that, huh? All right, let's let it cool off. We'll save our heat shield for the next job. Touch that. There it is. And it doesn't look like it melted it as far as like, you know, melted it in there. This vehicle's getting an oil change, so what I'm going to do is run a small wire brush in here just to clean this up. And then I'm going to pour some motor oil down the hole, you know, into the oil pan. So hopefully any debris that might still be in there will end up in the bottom of the pan, and that'll come out when I change the oil. But it's a neat little trick. I've used it for years. It works really good on all modern dipsticks that have the plastic handle that breaks off. It just works. I'm sure somebody's probably ran into this a time or two. Something worth noting, when you drill into this, don't drill into the center, because if you drill into the center, you're going to hit this dipstick. Try to drill it a little bit off center. I don't know if you can see. There you go. Try to drill it a little bit off center there, and then you're less apt to hit the dipstick, because you don't want to push the dipstick out of the plastic casing. And again, if you didn't understand what I did there, the reason for heating up the dipstick tube was to kind of melt this outer layer of plastic so that it would slide up out of there. If you guys found this video helpful, give me a thumbs up, hit subscribe, check out my other content. This video is so short, I could have made a TikTok out of it.